So the underlying causes are when the body's own natural protections against getting bacterial accumulation in the small intestine, it's when they would fail. So those protections, those natural protections are hydrochloric acid of the stomach, enzymes that come out in the stomach but also the small intestine, bile that comes out of the gallbladder into the small intestine. All of these things can kill bacteria or arrest their growth. So they're all there to decontaminate, really, the small intestine.
There's a growing list of what SIBO can cause. So when we talk principally about IBS, and that's 60-70% of IBS is SIBO, there's also a whole bunch of SIBO that's not IBS related. So if you had an obstruction of your bowel or an adhesion, that can cause SIBO. Diabetes for a chronic diabetic gets impairment from neuropathy, and that can cause SIBO. The question is cause and effect. So if you have an adhesion, the SIBO didn't cause the adhesion caused the SIBO.
So the chicken and the egg is fabulous question, always. And we don't ask that question enough.
In Western medicine, you're trained to name every single condition as if it's got like boundaries and like a little fence around it and, you know, an exact description. And that's not how our body works.
I mean, the classic example is that a lot of patients on narcotics or opioids have bacterial overgrowth. Why? Because narcotics slow down the gut, mess up with the motility of the gut, and they get bacterial overgrowth.
So if you have a SIBO test and I'm treating you and I'm doing everything right and I've done this 1,000 times and you're not responding, your numbers are not improving, your symptoms are not improving, despite the fact that we've been through phase 1 and 2 maybe multiple times, I'm thinking there's something else going on. When I'm thinking there's something else going on, I am more likely to start by looking for parasites. Other people who have a different population are going to look for systemic viruses like Lyme or Epstein-Barr or some of those chronic viruses.
The reality is, you know, if you have parasites, and as my friend Dr. Todd Watts would say, you know, a quick test you can do to see if you have parasites is take 2 fingers, find your pulse, and if you feel a pulse, that's a positive sign for parasites.
The Peyer's patches and the other parts of their immune system in their gut may not have ever fully developed. They need those bugs. So we look at that. We look at the fact of have they had surgeries, or did they have a perforated appendix or an ulcer that perforated and caused adhesions. Adhesions cause right angle turns in the gut or glue things together on the outside of these organs and affect the flow. And when you affect the flow, the migrating motor complex can't work properly and the bugs overgrow.
We now know, for at least the last couple of years, that food poisoning is a trigger for IBS, which I've already stated. But I want to state it even more clearly. I think now in IBS, we know more about the trigger event than we do for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, which is a major thing for this disease because Crohn's and ulcerative colitis has received almost all of the funding from federally funded grants. IBS generally doesn't get much funding. So a huge leap for this field, a huge leap for 45 million Americans, 1 billion people worldwide who have IBS.
Symptoms including changing bowel habits, abdominal bloating, distension, abdominal discomfort, nausea, early satiety, and changes in weight, whether weight gain or weight loss in either way. And food sensitivities, food that you could eat like 3 months ago, now you can't tolerate.
The diarrhea folks might always have diarrhea, and the constipation folks might go, yes, some loose stool, and you know, celebrate what was actually maybe a food poisoning. And not all food poisoning is bacterial. So we have to acknowledge that too. So I'm acknowledging parasites and viral gastroenteritises as well.
It's like a rainforest in your gut.
Yeah.
And you either have weedy patches in your rainforest or you have a healthy, thriving rainforest. And we try to restore your microbiome by doing certain, it's not just about killing. It's also about regrowing the good bacteria, and you need to know what's actually happening before you get there.